Second, I'm going to share this live. Because there's so many ways to look at it that I'm still learning how to look at it. But what I've broken it down into is that there is a physical matrix, a system that's been set up in front of us. Whether it's a city, it's basically breaking everything down. Like just looking at the world, like how the world is separated between race and wealth. And there's a schooling system, and then there's a wage system, and then how the taxes are set up, and how the judicial system is set up. It's like there's a system in place, and it's already there for us. You know what I'm saying? And so the first step to escaping the matrix is being able to see it, that form of the matrix. Okay, so that's that form, and we can go into detail into that, but it's basically everything that you're born into, just how the world is broken up and the pros and the cons of how society is set up. That is that matrix. And then the next version of the matrix is your own matrix, because you're inside of a matrix as well. Like your mind is a system. I believe a matrix really is just a system that you're just a part of. And so you have your own matrix, the system of who you are. And that is always going to be in some sort of like direct correlation or connection to the matrix in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? And so like the first way to escape the matrix, because a lot of people equate it to finances, and there's multiple ways of doing that. But I believe that it's a yin and yang balance to be able to free yourself physically and mentally and spiritually, and being able to free yourself financially, because there's a lot of people who can't do both. You know what I mean? And it's like that's like the next level, and being able to stay at peace when you know what, you don't have all of the tools and resources to escape the matrix financially or location wise, because there's different matrices. There's just systems. So I feel like no matter what, you're going to be in some sort of matrix, but like with the mainstream version of it, society at hand, you got to be able to know how to detach mentally and spiritually through meditation and through perspective. And so like one of the initial elements is gratitude and love, and like seeing every moment that you are thinking or experiencing, having a way to remind yourself that you are grateful to be in that moment, because any moment could be the last. It's kind of crazy. So that's why I feel like perspective is everything, and that allows you to live life so much differently than people who are trapped in, life and the system of life and like things they got to take care of, and other human beings and relationships and money and ego and just like things happening. Sometimes we get lost in that, and knowing how to step back and realizing that most things don't really matter that much. It's not really something we should be focusing our mental capital on. You know what I'm saying? And so what I realize is I recognize that one of my struggles within the matrix is that there are other players in the game, and maybe me getting into their own life experience. Like one person is a whole ball of experience, ego, and perception and agenda. So when two people frames clash, and knowing how to, for me, detach from most people and realizing that, you know what, most people, I don't know them, you know what I mean? And they have their own lives, and I shouldn't take everything so personal. Don't take most things personally. Like knowing how to detach and not being pissed off or not having expectations on people, and knowing how to walk with love. I feel like love is a powerful, like they don't talk about this stuff in the movie because it would sound cheesy. Like love at the end of the day. But like, yeah, it's like the secret. You got to have, I think honestly, the secret to the matrix is a spiritual component. It's nothing else but that. Because at the end of the day, like it's really the feeling in your body that you're after. You're after, like, freedom is probably more of a state of being than anything. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't have control over your external world. And this isn't to say don't pursue like physical material success. It's like, yeah, do that, but there's like a balance where it's like, I think that there's the actual element to success is only as the unseen thought process in the heart of you as a human being. And like maintaining that, you'll literally probably have the best life ever. You'll probably naturally, not probably, you're definitely gonna be so much, you're gonna attract more. You're gonna attract what you want more because you're in a state of gratitude and love. Like I think that those are the secrets to the game of life. Like if this was a video game and you were pressing buttons to the game of life, you'd probably want to hit the gratitude and love option the most. Because if you hit gratitude, like gratitude will probably help you take action when you need to take action because you'll appreciate opportunities. A lot of people have opportunities in front of them all day, synchronicities, but we don't take them because we know what button we press? Fear. We press fear all the time. Like it could be an opportunity to talk to somebody, to make a phone call, to send an email, to start a business or start something new. Like there's opportunities in front of us at all times to succeed naturally. And we could probably, this is what you would probably become a natural. It's like in dating, in the dating world for men who don't really need like help in dating, who it just comes to them innately, they're called naturals. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of parts of my life where I felt like a natural. There's a lot of things I do naturally really well with the opposite sex, with dating, just in general. But there's certain things I need to learn. I still need to learn about like just how to like, just be effective at presenting myself in the most seductive and valuable capacity. And that's more about me learning about myself. But there's certain things that I naturally just get. And I think I think every human being has that when it comes to dating. But on a grander scheme of what I'm talking about is like playing the game of life, being more of a natural. That's what it's about. Because then that's like, seriously, I feel like when you're like that, you become a type of person who has more fun, probably has more money, more prosperous, more abundant. You know how to do more with less. You're always like in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. That's like a level to like life that I'm recognizing. Like, okay, in order to do that, you gotta let go. You gotta let go of a lot of things. So many things you gotta let go of. You gotta let go of past trauma. You gotta let go of perceptions about other people. Expectation, you gotta let go of expectation. Like think about it. The concept of letting go means having less baggage. So imagine playing the game of life. Like I'm just imagining this as a video game character, and we had a bird's eye view of each human being. Carrying baggage is like literally carrying baggage. Have you seen people who carry? I've seen people who live out on the streets and they carry like backpacks and they have all their stuff. I'm like, I honestly believe that is a manifestation of how their inner world is. They have baggage and they're carrying it with them physically. You know what I'm saying? Like even me, I've been going through like drawers and dressers and like closets, pulling out like just things that I'm hoarding. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, I have baggage too, things I need to throw away. Like I have a bunch of stuff out. I'm about to show you right now. I'm doing spring cleaning. This is why I'm like talking about it. And I pulled everything out of every drawer, every clothes, all my clothes out, and I put it all over the floor. Everything's on the floor. Every book. Like all this paper was in a big box. It was in a big box, and I was like, oh, like I still got. It's like, and I almost feel like that's a manifestation of things. Like I know it sounds kind of weird, but I feel like it's a manifestation. I was like, oh, maybe, because like I know it's like clearing the RAM. You know what I'm saying? Clearing the RAM. I just felt like something was taking up space, and I'm like, oh, it's all this extra stuff. Throw this out. But like in life, that's like the same thing we have to do to relate this to everything. It's the same thing we have to do as people. We have to like let go of a lot of things so that we can be more agile in the game. To be able to be more flexible, be more like water, Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? Letting go is important. What else is important? Oh yeah, I'm saying gratitude and love. The thing about love is this. I think a lot of people's problems. See, here's the thing. When you really start letting go, you'll start really feeling better in your body. You start feeling. You do that a lot. You can breathe more. You know what I mean? You just feel more like you've been getting like a back massage for like a week straight. You just feel good. You know what I mean? And that becomes your new state of being. I'm telling you, this is how you feel good. Then the next aspect is other human beings. When you feel good within your own skin, you feel comfortable in your own skin, and no matter what, you're feeling good. The next skill set to the game of life is mastering your relationships, your relationship to other humans. Like, literally, life becomes so fucking easy. I was like thinking about it. I was like, how do we distill life to the Pythagorean theorem, the 80-20 rule? Like, what's the 20% of this entire game that we're fucking doing? What do we need to know? What are these little things that if we knew this when we were like 5, 6, or 7 years old, if they taught us that, like everything else would be understood. And you could live the best possible life ever. You would need to know certain things. And I honestly believe that it's loving yourself and loving the world. Loving every human being as if they were like your child or something. So that no matter what happens, when you walk out of your door and go into the actual matrix, no matter what someone says to you, no matter what you see, no matter what happens, you're able to like forgive humans, forgive people, like the ability to forgive. Because forgiveness is letting go. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be, I feel like this is the state of mind to be in the matrix, to be in this world, to be in this simulation, and to be able to probably prevail. If I would have known this and took it serious, I think if we all knew this, I feel like we would have like our lives would be in different places. But you can start applying it now. Because I was like, yo, this is like maybe what it is. And I'm like thinking this needs to turn into a religion. This could be connected to any religion for sure. Because I've heard people say like, imagine if you knew how to train your brain to pray every second of the day. Like if you were, as a human being, you're in the simulation. We are, in a lot of ways, like, we're like flesh robots. Like we're predictable creatures. You know what I mean? Like every human being is very predictable. There's certain things about human beings that we are connected to. Predictability. We all have egos. We all get hungry. We all get tired at certain times. We all want to be told. We all want to be accepted. So like a lot of things relate to our ego. We're all moving away from pain and trying to get closer to pleasure in some capacity. Like everybody, every human being, like we're all like kind of the same thing in this as a unit. Kind of like how all birds are the same, even if they all, like one bird could be a penguin, one could be a fucking ostrich. They're totally different creatures when it comes to like their environment and what they want and what they need, but they're all still kind of going for the same thing. And I think every physical unit is the same. Human beings to a tree to a fucking a fly. We're all like trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? And so like, okay, I've even read about this. I think it's I forget who says, but basically, human beings, we're all trying to survive and replicate as a physical unit. That's all. Even if you try not to do those things, it's like I don't even know. There's something that can be flipped around where that's all that you're doing. Like they say, like everything people do is for sex. Like we're doing things because we have maybe this desire to recreate, to reproduce at some point in life. I don't even know. Maybe I'm kind of going on a rant right now, but maybe I'm going too deep. I'm going on a rabbit. I'm going on a tangent. Let me bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back. So if we really get to the basis of why human beings are alive, we're here to survive and replicate. So how do you do that at the highest capacity? It comes down to your mindset and how you're existing on this world. I'm trying to figure out how to bring this back. What am I talking about? The game of life and how to play it the best way possible. Jeez movies. I need someone to come in here and help me out, man. I need some people to talk. We need to, man, if we could do like a share, if we could share screens, I would love to, because I feel like I'm talking myself into a circle. I want to hear some other information, because I need, like, you know what I mean? I'm coming up with these ideas. Should we get some, should I get a prime? Maybe I'll get a prime and something to, I got some herb. Maybe I need to hit the gas. You know what I mean? Get the gas a little, get some more gas. See, the thing about me and smoking, I'll tell you this. I genuinely don't like smoking and being in professional places all the time. I like to be present and just really in touch with reality as it actually is. But I noticed that when I do smoke and I'm by myself, it's like I'm able to tap in to ideas. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the comfort of my home, so that I can think about things. And I recognize when I'm not consuming content for pure entertainment. It depends. It all depends. Because there's a give and take. There's pros and cons. But I recognize when I give myself the opportunity to just think, I can think about a lot of things that I wouldn't think about when I'm just like not smoking, I guess. So it's a yin and yang. It's a yin and yang. So what I'm talking about right now, some people probably listen to what I'm saying and be like, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I know what I'm talking about, but I feel like maybe people think I don't know what I'm talking about because they don't know what I'm talking about. So therefore, they just perceive me as someone who doesn't know what he's talking about, but they don't understand. And I think that's maybe my fault. I got to take accountability because maybe I'm just not speaking in a way that's palpable for that person. So I can't complain, but I also have to understand that not everyone's going to get me. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's not my job to like have to dumb shit down to make people understand, but it does make me want to improve my communication because it's not always dumbing things down. It's about knowing how to speak from different angles and know the room. Know the audience. You know what I mean? Know the audience. I wish right now we had like, if we all had our Apple goggles on right now, I need to get the goggles. We need to get the goggles because then we could all be like, we could find a way to project this experience in like a theater because there's 6 people in here. It's not like, imagine there were 60 people. That's like an auditorium. But 6 people, 2 people, you know what I mean? Like we could, then I could get feedback. I could see how you guys feel. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes if I see people watching, I just make the assumption that maybe I'm making sense because there's numbers there. You know what I mean? And maybe when it dwindles, people got to leave. They got to go, whatever. But that's all good. But it's dope. It's dope to be able to see things real time. Okay, so if human beings, this is awesome. Where it starts is hilarious. Okay, if human beings, if we're like robots, we're basically like meat suits. We're robotic. Does this make sense? I'm Asian and have love for my black fam out there. It's beautiful. I love that. I love you. I appreciate you. I have love for you and I love for all the family. I love everyone. Even the people we're not supposed to love, I love them. I love everyone. We must love. And this gets me to what I was gonna say. This is my psychological argument for life on how to do. Okay, I don't know you, sir, but I just want to let you know God loves you and may God bless. Thank you, yo, J-Rock. Shout out to you. I love you as well. Right back at you. God loves you too. God loves us, yo. God really does. Look. This is how I look at the Matrix. Let's look at the world. This is from a scientific and a spiritual aspect. I'm gonna give you guys my perspective on this, and hopefully this can help you on it. When I look at life, we're in this simulation. This is a simulation. We're in this thing, right? We're in it for a period of time, a duration, because it's gonna come to an end. This simulation will. So we're in it. How do you survive in this simulation at your highest capacity? Because for a physical unit, a human being, we're supposed to, our job literally is to survive and replicate. from a tree is trying to survive, not die, and replicate and produce another tree and produce other trees. And you know what I'm saying? And as a human being, that's what we're here. We're literally here to live life, not die, and create and have children at some point. And if you're not producing children, you're producing something. You're creating something. This is like what we're doing at all times. Everything can link back to that. So I was like, okay, and to do that at the highest capacity is literally the secret to living a great life, a good life, the good life. You know what I mean? And so when you're living in this matrix, I was like, well, what's the Pythagorean theorem to the game of life? If we're a simulation of the game, what is the 20% knowledge that we need to know to apply to literally have a good life? And what I think is it's the virtues. It's the simple virtues. You know what I mean? Like those, like patience is a virtue. Like that's one of them. You got to know that. Gratitude. You got to be thankful. Love. You got to show love. Forgiveness. Like little ass things where you're like, that's it. That's the secret. It's like, yeah, that's the secret to the game. Like, really? You got to know that stuff? It's like, yeah, but here's the thing. I think to truly take it to the next level, you have to utilize that stuff, we have to utilize these virtues, but we have to be like, think like an athlete, like an athlete, it's gotta be like a discipline. Like your life has to be surrounded by this. Because I was like, the discipline of like controlling your mind is another level of thing. Like, imagine your day, and ask yourself, how often do you go on autopilot? How often do you go on autopilot when you're walking the world? When you like, it's pretty. If you really if you pay attention to it, I would say you probably go on autopilot like through most of the day. There's moments where you're thinking what you need to do, but a lot of times we just wake up and we just do things and we just go. And I think that's I don't know what they say, like a lack of willpower. But I feel like in a simulation, to really have a great life is to have full control over the mind and over the will. Now, there's certain things about our will, like there's an argument, like how much willpower do we have? But the more will that you have, it's going to give you more ability to choose your life and choose your decisions. And I believe to have more willpower, it's like having your hands more on the controller of the game of life, on the video game controller. You know what I mean? And I recognize that a lot of people don't. The degree to the control you have of your life is the degree to how much you have control over the video game controller to the game of life. I'm serious. That's really what it is. And I believe what do you gain that control over the video game controller to the simulation through consistent discipline of controlling your mind, your emotions, and and working your body out, keeping your body in good shape, and what's the fuel, what you put into your body. Because your body is like, you got to imagine your body like a fucking vehicle, like an Iron Man suit. You know what I mean? You're inside this thing. You gotta keep the suit working. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you appear in the simulation. So it has to be at its tip-top shape. You know what I mean? And then it's like the view, how you're viewing the world is everything. Because the eyes are like glasses. And so glasses, you have to, when you go to the doctor, eye doctor, you got to do like the little fucking, you know what I'm saying, where they calibrate your vision. They calibrate your vision to have the best possible vision. You got to calibrate your own perception of reality in a way to where how you view the world is always the best. It's always going to put you in the best way possible. So how can you always see everything as a way to put you in the best scenarios as possible? And the only way to do that is through positive perception. It's so like positive perception. So how you view everything is how you view anything is how you're going to view everything in a lot of ways. Because it's just like the glass that's in front of you. So some things will be better, but you may not see things that are good as great because you can't see it as good as it is because your perception is blurred. So we have to have a stronger perception of reality. And that's what. And the thing about perception of reality is it's all in your control. And it's all in control. So it's like, what degree is like how far you want to take it. You know what I mean? I think that there's a perception. I think the best perception, this is what I'm thinking right now. Maybe someone could have a better option than me. But it's by seeing the world through the perception that, I would say this. There's nothing wrong with being a little delusional with the optimism. I think if you're going to have some optimism, be a little delusional about it. Because it's like, it's probably not going to hurt. If you're delusional with the optimism, it's probably better than people who are going to be just average with the optimism. Of course, be above average with your optimism. That's probably important. Be above average, because there's a lot of people who are above average with their, what's the opposite of optimism? What's that word? Negativity? Some people are more delusional about how negative things are in their life. And then that just begets more negativity, and it kind of like, they stay in that sort of frame of mind when their life could be a little bit better. You could probably make your life 10% better just by updating your thinking for like a period of time. Like, I look at myself like a fucking, like this, I'm like, our brains are literally computers. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, anything you want to have more in your life, just like focus your brain on that thought for longer periods of time. You know what I mean? Just focus it on that. Just focus on, like, all right, for the next 30 days, I'm going to train myself to be optimistic. Like, make that a mission. Even with, and you literally don't even have to change anything you're doing in your life, but your thinking. And just let your life play. You know what I'm saying? Every day. And like, imagine doing that. Imagine just going, get like a pessimism. There it is. He said, yeah, thank you, Andrew. There needs to be like a class on this. Like, we literally like say, okay, today, it's, how many, you gotta pray every day. And how many prayers can you do a day? Like, I'm trying to think how to think. You guys are watching me right now, so I wish I gotta stay on. Like, sometimes I want to just think and not talk at all. But I'm like, oh, I got an audience of people here. Do I need to be like acting and talking the whole entire time, or can I just shut up and think? Let me just shut up for 1 second. Let me take a 30-second break. I'm gonna hit this week. Okay, I know what we're gonna talk about, because that's what I wanted to know. Like, I want to have a foundation. I know what I want to tell people. I know how to do it. I just want to get better at communicating. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are watching me. Like, one thing I like about doing these live streams is that I get to talk. You know, like, ask yourself, how often do you actually talk today? Like, really express yourself. Most people are not gonna listen. Most people don't give a fuck, dude. That's just the reality. So a lot of times, like, people probably don't talk as much as they think they are. Unless, you know, you're around people and that's your job. Maybe everybody's different. But for me, I recognize that it's very rare that ever since I started live streaming, talk for just 30 minutes, just pure talking, just without a direction, just explaining and expressing myself. It's very rare. It's kind of nice to get things out. I recommend do this. I've done these on private mode where no one was watching it. I was just practicing talking to myself. I know it sounds weird, but I just wanted to practice being able to be comfortable on camera and not have a piece of paper in front of me and reading and just flowing off the dome speaking, because I recognize even being in public, I feel like I'm a better conversationalist just based on the fact that I'm in the fucking the communicative mode, so like I can easily grab words. Because have you ever met some people and then something happened and then you just kind of like were awkward with you like tripped on your words and you just didn't know how to get the words out, and like I hate when that happens, yo. I love always knowing what to say or always having stuff. I don't know. I like being able to present myself in the social world, which is another thing to talk about. That's a whole nother conversation. Let me get to the real deal, what I want to talk about with the Matrix. I was thinking like, yo, if this is a game, if this was a simulation, let's just say it is, and it's a game, right? There's game aspects to the simulation. What is the most important things to remember in the game? And it's probably really the simple virtues in life. But then, like, patience is a virtue, the commandments, certain things that are just here, that it's just put on, like, how a human being must, like, certain limitations, certain rules to the simulation to coexist and for you to live your best way possible. But then I was like, okay, what's the perception of reality that can give you the best level of success in the world, no matter what, and can always help you manifest a favorable reality? Because it's like every perception of your current present moment is probably going to create the next moment and the next moment. And so it's like, I think that that's really what it is. Each moment is pregnant with the next moment. You feel me? So how do we produce positive moments? How do you manifest a positive moment? How much control over manifesting a positive reality do we have each moment? I think that we plant seeds. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe how you're feeling this week could probably be a result of how you were feeling last week. And each week is different, but we plant seeds to like the days prior. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think to have a good life, it's like, honestly, I believe it's a controlling mechanism of the mind. We got to control our mind. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to make sure okay, here we go. The game of life, ladies and gentlemen, it's a simulation. Or is it? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But if it is, let's just say it is for a moment. If it's all some sort of a game, and it's all a reality, how do we have control over that? What do we have control over at the end of the day? We don't have control over the weather. You don't have control over what human beings you see when you walk outside your door. You don't have control over the body that you're given. You don't have control over any of this. You don't have control over any of this. What is the one thing we have control over? We have control over our thoughts and actions. But the actions start with the thoughts. So that's the one thing we have control over. And I think that is probably the most important aspect to life. Controlling the mind. From a scientific perspective, controlling the mind is probably the most important aspect. If you had to look at scientifically. It's controlling the mind. Controlling the mind. And that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe the secret to the simulation is literally just controlling your mind. And how powerful that you can control it. That's probably the only thing that you really need to know. From a scientific aspect, from like a physical perspective, of the only thing that matters, maybe it's you controlling your mind. Because if you think about it, that's the only thing you have control over. Your actions are preceded by the mind. I think it's preceded. So that means like everything you do is because of a thought that you had. You know what I mean? You don't have control over your emotions. Like a lot of time our emotions happen, but you have control over how you can still control your mind no matter how your body's feeling. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, even if something unlucky happens or an unfortunate circumstance, you have control of your brain on how you perceive it. And so maybe the secret to the game of life is literally just perception. Maybe the secret to the simulation and mastering the game of life is all about the mastery of your perception, how you view everything. And then knowing what to attune that perception to will give you everything you need to know to create self-fulfilling prophecies, to create favorable results, and to no matter what, be happy at the most highest level, the most consistently happy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's probably what the real success is. There's obviously like success that's been established through societal like programming and just culture and tradition and just the way the world works and what's natural to human beings. But really, it's like an inner game too. It's the inner game. It's up here, man. The mind.